Hi guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
I was really gonna say D right now.
Wow.
It was so crazy. But we're back, guys. I know it's been a little of a hiatus. Our bad. But life has been lifing. Besides, it's summer. We needed a break. We went really hard last year. So we've been planning for this year. But we're back. If you guys have been watching us, we stopped at season 5, episode 9 of the Kardashian review. So we're going to review episode 10, which is called I Can't Do This. It was a dumb episode. Maybe, maybe not, sort of.
Okay.
So, like we usually do, we're going to read an article and, of course, give you our opinions on it.
Okay, so this is an article from thethings.com. Side note, I'd like to point out that clearly it's not hitting anymore, y'all, because it was hard enough to even find this review. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, this was written by Alexandra Sekalaru. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name. Anyway, so here it is. If you were expecting the season finale of The Kardashians to deliver a dramatic bang, prepare for a letdown. The episode is more of a gentle sigh than a thrilling gasp as the Kardashians Jenner clan wraps up the season with a blend of routine checkups and mild family moments. With the stakes seemingly low and the drama almost non existent, let's dive into the episode that proves sometimes even the Kardashians need to hit the brakes. The episode opens with Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and Kris Jenner engaging in a classic midlife crisis conversation. They're moaning about getting older, and Kim, ever the trendsetter, suggests they take a biological age test. While the idea of finding out if their bodies are aging slower than their calendars is intriguing, one can't help but wonder about the cost of such tests. Given their penchant for luxury, it's probably enough to make the rest of us rethink our life choices. So, next part, Kourtney takes another dig at Scott. Before getting to the results, viewers are whisked away to Australia, where Kourtney Kardashian is living it up with her husband, Travis Barker. Kourtney reminisces about the lavish Valentine's Day surprises Travis orchestrated for her, offering a glimpse into their romantic relationship without showing the gestures on camera. While Scott Disick is conveniently omitted from the conversation, it's clear Kourtney's current love life is a far cry from her past disappointments, as she admits Travis makes her a romantic. It's almost as if she's rubbing it in Scott's face without saying his name. But honestly, who can blame her? If you've traded a lackluster ex for a rock star husband, you'd want to flaunt it too. Uh, Kim makes croissants with Jane Fonda for prison reform. Okay, so the next portion is Kim's familiar foray into prison reform. Earlier in the season, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was introduced to discuss prison reform, but this episode brings a new twist with a cameo by Jane Fonda, a long-standing advocate and board member of Homeboy Industries, an organization dedicated to helping formerly incarcerated individuals reintegrate into society. Jane's presence feels less like an endorsement of Kim's work and more like a strategic move to shine a spotlight on Homeboy Industries. Very true. It's odd that Kim's kids are barely featured this season, given how frequently she posts about them on social media, especially her eldest, Northwest, whom she shares a TikTok account with. While Kim's not shy about showcasing her children online, their limited presence on the show could imply she prefers to keep the Kardashians focused on herself or simply wants a break from parenting amid her constant complaints. This contrasts sharply with the heartwarming yet slightly cringeworthy family outing Kourtney and Travis have at the zoo, featured later in the episode. Kourtney's son Rain's desire to adopt exotic animals is adorable. I have thoughts about that, and it's not adorable. But their constant PDA is overwhelming. Even Rain pipes up with the classic line, "Stop making out," showing that their public displays of affections are crossing into eye-roll territory. It's moments like these that highlight the fine line between affectionate and excessive. So before we continue, let's touch on the few parts we saw there. The initial discussion about the age, then the visit to Australia or going back to Australia and Kourtney and her, romantic gestures from Travis, to the situation where Kim and Jane Fonda interact, of all people. So yeah, what did we think about those parts?
You're gonna have to repeat all that in like 20 seconds. but I guess the first part where they want to take, what did they call the test?
The Horvath
The Horvath test.
Horvath test.
Well, that was kind of funny because everybody was trying to pronounce it, and then they kept saying the word, the one that I said earlier.
Right.
So this episode was very old, keeping up with the Kardashians. But at the same time, can Kim just like put it on Twitter and ask the masses, do we want to know about their health? Because we don't. I know it sounds insensitive, and yes, it might be contradictory what I said in the previous recording that we did, that we would like a little more information, especially since it's a women-centric kind of show. But this seems like they're flaunting. Oh, let me do this $7 million test that nobody has access to see how I am biologically aging. And
Yeah.
then it becomes like this weird competition, like towards the end, and Chloe's happy, but she's like a health nut, I guess, so to speak. But then at the same time, she's saying, well, I don't want to give up chicken nuggets and pizza and this and that. So I'm like, so which one is it, Chloe? Like, you're kind of confusing me. I thought you were all, you know, Courtney's 2.0, basically, without the excess, is an organic kind of thing. But you're over here eating like pizza and things, which is not a bad thing because, we all like snacks. But I just had the illusion of her not eating those things. So it's not necessarily healthy if that's what she's trying to. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
To me, it's like she's eating junk food, but she's still healthy. That's the way that it was implied to me. I know she's probably not doing that, but I think it's that Hollywood thing. It's like, oh, I'm not really trying and I'm eating whatever I want. But then again, you're not saying that you're working out 7 hours a day. You have a personal trainer, you have a chef. The pizza that you're eating, is it a cauliflower pizza? Like, I feel like that could be a little misleading. So I was kind of annoyed with that. And we've talked about them always discussing health in a weird way, I guess, to make us concerned or invested in the show. So it's kind of annoying at this point. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's weird that this is what they chose as like their finale content.
Mm-hmm.
I could have expected this, I don't know, episode 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but for like the finale to make it as, like you said, down the road, later in the episode, it becomes like a competition. It was just odd. And then on top of that, like they kind of made some strange remarks about Scott and like, what his biological age, all that stuff would be, that I don't know, felt a little bit like weird considering the issues that he's had. I mean, addiction is a disease. And so yeah, like they kind of made light of it in a way later on in the episode. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really care for that. And then, like you said, there was a misleading aspect to like what Chloe was saying because she was so afraid of what the biological test would say because she claims that she eats pizza and cookies and French fries. She loves French fries and all these things. But yeah, we know that she works out a lot. We know that she has a personal trainer. She has chefs. Pretty much everybody in her family does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like there is a lot that's not being said,
Yeah.
right? Um, and then also like they're not the people. We've always talked about this, right? Like right message, wrong messenger. Like they're not exactly the sort of people that should be giving any kind of advice as far as like, yeah, look at us, we are like biologically younger and blah 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 because of this and this,
Mm-hmm.
when that's not what how it is for the masses as far as like the factors, because these people have tons of money and they have tons of resources to make it so that they're biologically younger. um
Ditto.
and then I also find it really like cringy because it's like they talk about aging and it's almost like they're so afraid of it. Like they're just so like, with the exception of Chloe being so excited to turn 40, everybody else just seems so like afraid of the whole aging process. We know that obviously work has been done. we're not judging here, you do you, but like we know they've done work on themselves. We've talked about how Kris Jenner literally hides her hands and her neck all the time. Like she's wearing long sleeves and turtlenecks in like summer weather, which is odd. And then obviously we all know they have a heavily filtered image, not just on social media, but it's clear in the shooting in these episodes that that's not what they really look like. Like you
Mhm.
can tell that they have filters over them. So it's such a like it just felt so cringy to hear them talk about age as though like, oh well yeah, I'm actually younger than, my actual like age and my calendar age and blah blah blah. Okay, but like that's great, that's wonderful. But what you are portraying to people is that you at the age you are right now that we know you as, that you look amazing at this age. And that everybody can be amazing at this age. Like you said, misleading because they're not also telling us that they have plastic surgeons on deck, that they have the private chef, private trainers, private everything, So not only that, but they have access to the best wellness and healthcare and skincare and all these just like luxury things that
Yeah,
everybody else doesn't. So there's so many levels to it, and I just found it all to be so cringy. Like I didn't see the point. And again, for it to be a finale, it just, I feel, goes to show that this is not the show that we all knew back in the
yeah.
day. It's not, obviously, it's not keeping up. They never should have. In my opinion, I don't think they should have bothered with this Hulu iteration, like, at all.
Ditto. And just to add to that, they're and I hope the people realize that this is their job. It's their job to, whether we like it or not, to look good, to sell what they sell because, sex sells. That's what they're selling. They're selling the Kardashian brand to us. We see that in all their businesses, the skims, the cosmetics, the lotions, the whatever else they sell. So they have to look good to promote these products. So just so you guys know, you're doing just fine, sweetie. Like it's just them trying to sell crap to us, which I
Yeah.
still haven't purchased anything. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so then now moving on to the Courtney Australia scenes and all that. Honestly, I can't even tell you that I remember what happened between her and Travis, that whole scene, because I tend to like look away because it makes me uncomfortable looking at them because they're
Hmm.
so like in your face about things. And it's like, I'm happy that you're happy. You deserve all the happiness in the world, but I also don't want to see like your tongues. Like I'm not comfortable with that. So yeah, I didn't really care too much for anything related to that whole scene or whatever.
I just thought it was kind of sad because I understand that you're trying to show your kids, well, this is what a healthy relationship is like. And I don't know if Rain remembers her being with Scott or if they were separated or
Mhm.
what kind of relationship that they had. But every everything with Courtney is excess with when it comes to Travis. It's like her whole world revolves around him. And I don't know how they don't see that it's not okay to make out like that. I think everybody do you if you wanna, but I don't think that that's appropriate behavior. Whether you're straight, whether you're gay, whether you're old, whether you're young, there's a time and a place. Like we don't want. I mean, at least I wouldn't want my kids or my nieces, my nephews, whatever, to see, those displays of affection. Like, not right now. They're kids.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that Courtney is doing all these things in front of the kids. And this is not the first time that they tell her about it. Penelope said that, I think, season 4 or season 3, when they
Mhm.
were going on tour somewhere or if there was a show,
Yeah.
and she thought it was cringy. So I don't understand why she's not taking her kids into consideration. Forget us and our opinions, I guess, but your own kids are saying, "Hey, cut it out,
Do
mom."
it. Yeah.
And it's not like, "Oh, we're teenagers and like we can't be bothered with our parents." It's like, "No, mom, this is really like inappropriate." Especially, I think he also said something like, "You just had a baby." Don't be so quick to make another one. I'm like, what? Aren't you like 8? Like, how do you know where babies come from?
Oh, ma'am. Yeah, exactly.
I
That
don't,
was it, it's a little bit it's a little bit much. And I mean, if your children are uncomfortable, like
mm-hmm,
I don't I don't know, like take that into consideration, you know? Like I don't know, just it's a matter of like respect.
mm-hmm,
It's great that your children can grow up and see you in a loving, healthy relationship, but you can show that without these excessive PDA moments, you know? Um but obviously like the way that they have raised their children are comfortable enough to at least voice their opinion, so that's a positive.
yeah,
um but you know, as far as like continuing with them on that Australia trip, I also found it just so odd every time that Rain wanted one of these exotic animals as a pet, because that's insane that a child could be like, yeah, can you buy that for me, in a very matter of fact way, not in a like, you know, jokey, no, like in I know they can do this kind of way.
mm,
That felt awkward to me. What
yeah.
did you
No, I thought the same thing. I'm like, what? You just want a koala just for ish and giggles? Like, what? They sleep like 22 hours a day. You don't want one, anyways. But yeah, we I guess we can expect the kids to grow up a little privileged. I'm gonna say
Right.
that. But you know what I found crazy was Courtney going out with the kids and leaving Rocky behind. She was so, oh, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom and I'm not gonna do anything without the baby,
Yeah.
and then we didn't see her with the baby.
I don't I don't know. I feel like it's so confusing because, you know, she was adamant that she wanted to give time to the other children and all that and not have like, you know, the baby kind of interfere with that, but she was still working around the baby's schedule. Like
Yeah,
so it was, I don't know, it just seemed a little bit like odd. And listen, like obviously I know that it's hard no matter what for a mom to like balance handling when you have more than just one child. I get that, especially to be able to provide each of them with like the adequate amount of time and energy and space and all that. um but I don't know, like, and to me, like, I guess what also stood out was just the fact that like Mason wasn't there. And I know that he's a teenager and, you know, teenagers are a certain kind of way, but still it's like you were adamant that you wanted this to be about your children and you getting to spend time with them, and that's not necessarily what happened. And even with the zoo thing, they left Penelope behind because she was asleep. Like they just took Rain. So I was like, why not just wake her up? This is supposed to be a family thing.
it's
I don't
just
know.
they're just weird. And
Yeah.
then I was also thinking, I'm like, okay, so you went to the zoo with Rain. So I'm limited to this 2 hour or whatever it was, 3 hours with you. And it's like, oh, we got to go now. Like, how about if the kid was actually saying, hey, mom, let's hang out, was getting that one on one thing. And it's boom,
Mhm.
interrupted by, oh, I got to go breastfeed. I'm not judging for all you moms out there. I'm just saying, I still don't think it's quality time.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
I
if you
think
have to abruptly stop it. And it's not like one time. It's like you have to abruptly stop
several.
these activities to go and breastfeed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, children are resilient, so you know they're able to bounce back from things, but also like they are very adept at like noticing patterns, right? So if like, you know, the pattern is that, oh, you're only going to give me this much time, then, you know, maybe it'll be like, let me just enjoy this time at least. Um but still at the same time it's kind of like a kid can become resentful, right? Like they're in the middle of having fun or trying or like enjoying themselves, and yeah, like that getting cut short will upset any kid. But I know it's hard. Like I've been told this multiple times by multiple moms. Like it is hard. It is tough, you know, trying to really find that time, that energy to provide enough and adequate time, you know, to every child. So I just think that like there's certain aspects of all of that whole scene that were very odd in general. And I mean, I don't think Courtney's gonna, change in any kind of way, shape, or form. Um, and we have seen that at least like now her oldest son Mason has a social media page, which is wild to think about because we all witnessed him being born through Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and here we are, a whole teenager that's on social media. It's insane.
So crazy.
So, like, obviously, we've been watching this for far too long, far too long. But moving on to the next part, Jane Fonda, who we absolutely love and adore here. Like,
Hmm.
Jane is queen. Um, I found it really crazy that she was there, and I'm glad that at the very least it was, to highlight her organization. Um, because I don't think she was really there for Kim.
I
Like,
don't think so either. I was glad that she did it. I'm like, girl, just take her 5 minutes of fame and, well, it seems like it's 20 years actually. Take some of her 20 years of fame and like use it for a good cause. So I ain't mad at it.
no, not at all. Like Jane Fonda can do no wrong. So I was happy to see her. I was happy to see her spotlighting, the organization and what they're doing, which is amazing work.
Hmm.
Helping people that have been released after being incarcerated and all that. So that was really cool. But like Kim, I feel like sometimes she just looks so out of place. And when I saw her there, I was like trying to figure out, I'm like, what is she wearing? Because I didn't know if she was like wearing Balenciaga or something, or I can't recall exactly what it was, but I just remember thinking, like, why show up to places with like full glam and all these things? Like, I feel like it comes off looking like it's more of a photo op.
Yeah.
Um, More so than like I'm here to help, I'm here to do work, it feels like it becomes more of I'm here for me, I'm here for like Kim Kardashian. And so that's like frustrating to see because it's like, okay, how are you going to help, how are you going to really like highlight these people when you're concerned about the way that you look and concerned about how you're coming across. um and then I wonder, like, does she ever do anything else with these groups of people? Does she do anything else to like really help with spotlighting them, further? Because I mean, let's face it, the Kardashians is not doing the sort of numbers that it used to back in the day. So unless Kim is like actively on her social media spotlighting them, there's not really going to be much,
Yeah.
limelight that comes from it. Um but yeah, I don't know. I just, again, I was glad to see Jane and hear about her organization, but I just kind of felt like, what was Kim even like there doing? Like it just felt disingenuous. Like when it comes to her, it just felt, yeah, like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired of her, but it just didn't feel very real to me.
This love hate relationship with the Kardashians. Today, this episode, we tired of her. We don't want to see her no more. Her or Chloe. I can't believe I'm even saying that.
Whoa, whoa. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
let speaking of Chloe, the most gripping part of the episode is the biological age test results, which bring the season's climax. Okay. Chris, Chloe, Kim, and Scott all took the test, and their anxiety is so palpable it almost made me anxious, even though the storyline itself isn't particularly dramatic. Chris and Kim receive news that they're biologically younger than their actual age. Kim's delight at being nearly a decade younger is a highlight, but the real star is Chloe, whose biological age of 28 leaves everyone speechless. Chloe's triumphant declaration, me, the fat one, is now better than the best one, is both a personal victory and a dig at Kim. After years of being the family's chubby one and enduring media scrutiny, Chloe's health triumph is commendable. Let's just hope her taste in men improves next. Holy cannoli, I'm gonna.
Oh,
I didn't say that. The article said that. So before we move any further, let's discuss this really quickly. Um, Yeah, what'd you think?
I just kind of love seeing Kim upset about it. I'm like, girl,
Yes.
you're a whole 9 years, 10 years younger. Like, what are you mad about?
Yeah.
You are older, you know. Like,
Hmm.
what was she expecting?
She wanted to be like probably a Gen Zer or something.
Well, she's tripping. She is not that. What did you think?
Um, Honestly, I thought the whole thing was so stupid, but Chloe saying what she said, me, the fat one, beating the best one, I thought that was iconic because
Yeah.
I think we know that for many years, Chloe was heavily scrutinized, heavily criticized because of her weight and because she didn't look like her really skinny sisters, right? Because all four of her sisters have always been thin. Chloe's the only one that's been thick, that's had body to her, right? Um, Without, as far as we know, any kind of surgical help at the time. So to me it was like I felt happy for her in that sense because I know the way in which the trajectory of her shedding the weight has come along, because even before Ozempic, before all these other things, Chloe was on a health kick journey and it's been years, and she made it. She eventually got to the point where she lost a lot of weight, and was able to get thin and was able to, become healthy enough. And she has seemingly been able to keep the weight off for many, many years. So I think that's really good for her, because I'm sure that, like, for any person that's ever been called fat, any person that's ever been judged for being overweight, when you get to a certain point in life where you are victorious in something, you will always remember the judgment, the criticism, and how that made you feel. So I think this was not just necessarily like, oh, a dig at Kim, but more so like a real, genuine, like, victory for her. Like, damn, like, I'm actually doing good. I'm actually doing better than that one, something along those lines. But
Mhm.
yeah,
It
so I
was
was,
like she's waiting her whole life to say this.
oh, for
She's
sure.
like, I'm gonna work to this and then I'm gonna beat Kim. And now she did it and she had to say it. And we love her for it.
Yes, very, very much so. So, to continue, um, as the episode wraps up, the Kardashians come together for a family gathering that's as sweet as it is subdued. It's nice to see the cousins bonding, and North's rare appearance adds a nostalgic touch. What? Anyway, however, Kendall Jenner's absence is noticeable. Chris points out that Kendall is the only one of her kids who hasn't had children yet, a point she seems to make every few months. Whew, that's messed up. When Kendall eventually addresses this in her own confessional, she offers an unusually vague response about manifesting her future family plans. This cryptic comment hints at underlying issues, especially considering recent rumors about her relationship with Bad Bunny, who has been vocal about his disinterest in marriage and children. Kendall's non-committal answer suggests that her plans for starting a family might be more complicated than they appear. Kylie Jenner also reflects on her confidence and motherhood. She gushes that her son is in love with her and that he's the only man she needs. This could be a sly jab at her ex, Travis Scott, or a subtle nod to the rumors swirling around her and Timothy Chalamet. As the season draws to a close, it's clear that this finale lacked the dramatic flair we've come to expect. With more focus on personal reflections and less on explosive moments, the Kardashians are leaving us with more questions than answers. Will Kendall's relationship drama come to light next season? Will Kylie's love life stabilize, or will more rumors swirl? Will they even discuss these subjects that are often overlooked? One thing is certain, while this season might not have been packed with drama, the Kardashian Jenner clan will always find a way to keep us guessing. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we know, it's that the Kardashian saga is never truly over.
Mm.
Okay, so what did you think about that last part?
Man, I didn't know Bad Bunny had an aversion to marriage and kids.
I am not fully familiar with it. I recall hearing something about it, but I'm not fully familiar.
I really don't care about this ending. I need Chris to cut it out though. Leave that girl alone.
Yeah.
Life, we already know she deals with mental health, and I'm not saying it to as a jab. It's
Yeah.
like, why do you need to add extra stress to her if that's not where even her mind is at right now? I'm
Yeah.
sure if she wants to get knocked up, she could. So just leave her alone and let her be. She's not her sister. She's her own person.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah. I think that it's hard enough as it is being a woman, especially in this country, and to constantly have your own mother question you as far as when you're gonna have children is disrespectful. Um and I know that obviously it doesn't come from a place of like, ill intention. Um but I don't think that a lot of people understand, and I think for us specifically, like the Hispanic community, we know um the constant questions of when are you getting married, when are you going to have kids, like we hear that even from when we're like in our early 20s. Like we don't even have to be older, we hear that from a young age. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to carry us off on, very early on. And so I think like for Kendall, especially given that her little sister had children at a young age and all that stuff, I'm sure that's part of what plays into why the question always comes up from her mom specifically. But it's not a fair thing to do to someone. We don't know what Kendall's situation is. We don't know if maybe she has tried. Maybe she has fertility issues that we don't know about, Like obviously Kim has been open, Chloe has been open, like even Courtney was open about her fertility journey this time around with Travis. And then obviously the difficulty that in pregnancies that both Kim and Chloe had. So there very well could be something health wise that's, a hindrance for her. And I'm sure that if that's the case, Chris should know. And so if she knows and she's still asking this, that's messed up even more.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think it's a fair thing to continuously ask any woman when they're going to do this or that, because at the end of the day, Kendall's successful. She's living on her own. She's not needing anything from you or anybody else. So, like, if you're not paying somebody's bills, why are you asking them those kind of questions? Like, mind your own business. It's really got nothing to do with you at the end of the day. And that's
This
how I
is
feel about
true.
that.
And she's young. I think
Yeah.
she hasn't celebrated a 30th birthday.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's coming up because Kylie just turned whatever she is,
I think
27
27. Yeah.
yesterday, Saturday. So we
Yeah.
know that they're close enough in age.
Yeah.
So this is the moments that, like Kylie said, that we should be living life.
Right.
Kylie said this is the moment we should be showing our. So this girl's a whole supermodel. Well, let's not say super. She's a model, okay?
Yeah.
She's living life. She's dating. She goes from Bad Bunny to Devin Booker and back to Bad Bunny and then mixes somebody else in between. And then she doesn't
Back.
even know who she wants to be with. And that's cool. Let
Yeah.
her live. She's not her sisters.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like, I think ultimately the at the end of the day is like all her sisters are probably jealous of her,
Mm.
with the exception of Chloe. 'Cause Chloe loves being a mama. That girl was born to be that. But everybody else, I'm sure they're just freaking jealous of her because she's living her best life. She doesn't have to deal with deal with anything or anybody. Definitely doesn't have to deal with no baby daddies. CC Kim, Courtney, and Kylie. Chloe, she gets along with Trish Strash, so we're not even gonna go there. But but final thoughts on this season. What do you think of it?
Well, it was more keeping up with the Kardashian esque. So I can appreciate that. But this show should not be renewed the way it's being renewed. They would do me a favor if they just stop renewing the show.
Do us a favor, ma'am.
Us a favor. I mean, we're committed. We have this love hate
I know.
relationship, like we said. Um, but this season was pretty underwhelming. They had that fake fight. They
Yeah.
built a snowman. They had like 7,000 health crises. Like, what else happened? I don't know.
Nothing.
A Balenciaga fashion show, of course. That's it. I can't remember anything else happening.
So, my final thought, aside from the fact that it should not be renewed, um, I think it's very obvious that none of them want to do this anymore. Like,
Mm.
they are just cashing checks. Let's be real here. This is the employees that are either about to retire or they found a new job and they're putting their 2 weeks notice. That's what this feels
That hits
like.
home. But they're quiet quitting.
It- it- because tell me this does not feel like that, because this is what we're seeing right off of their show. But on social media, completely different. Social media, they're giving you everything, not everything, but a lot of things. We're seeing the decorations and backstage stuff for events and for family dinners and birthdays and all these different things. We're seeing launches of new items and businesses and all these different things. They're showing us their children on social media. They're showing us vacation on social media. That's real life for them. That's what they would prefer to be doing. That's I have a new job and I'm happy here status. The show is I'm just collecting a paycheck and I'm retiring in 5 months. I'll be gone soon. Like that's what it's giving to me. I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think they're invested
Hmm.
whatsoever. We already know that the Jenner sisters are useless because
Oh my gosh.
it listen,
They are, they are, they are.
the fact that they ended the show with them having a dinner at Kylie's house and we saw Kylie for all of 2 minutes while she had spent just 2 other minutes in the entire season. It was that their way of saying, "Oh yeah, Kylie's still a part of it. We're having dinner at her house." Oh, okay. Wow. That's great. Wonderful. We're seeing her walking around with a martini. Okay. So she's now cosplaying as Kris Jenner. That's what this is. Because we don't know the real Kylie, do we? Do we know anything about Kylie at this point? I don't think
We
that we do.
don't. What do we?
Her her baby daddy just got arrested in Paris yesterday, a day before yesterday. We're not gonna know anything about that because it's not like she ever talks about him. She doesn't talk about Timothy. We don't even know if the girl has any friends. Well, if we're looking at social media, we know she does, but we don't ever see her with anybody on the show. Remember back in the day, she even had a show with Jordan.
Hmm.
We don't see nothing. Kendall has gone from spending time in Miami, Puerto Rico, and all these other places where Bad Bunny was doing his concert to now being in Paris where Devin Booker just got a gold medal. What happened
That
in
is something to see. How do you juggle booze?
I mean,
That's the drums.
exactly. So so again, what is the purpose of the show if you're not giving us anything?
Yeah,
You're
that's the
not.
juice.
The real information we are getting off of the show and it's not coming from you.
Hmm.
So, you know, I always thought that in large part they wanted to do this iteration of the show with Hulu because they would have creative control. They're not really creatively controlling anything.
Yeah.
They're not being creative at all.
Oh.
So I don't see a purpose anymore. We're gonna obviously keep watching because like you said, we're committed, but they would definitely be doing all of us a favor and just go ahead and, you know, shut down their laptop, shut down their desktop and get their box and start walking to the
I'm
front.
really curious about the ratings for these 5 seasons and how it's been doing. Well, I mean, I think we know that it's been declining, but how much? Let's look it up.
I feel like Kim posted maybe after the first episode, like after the premiere, she posted how it was like the highest premiere for Hulu.
Hmm.
Yeah, because nothing else is on Hulu that's worth watching, except for maybe The Bear. And The Bear is on FX, and then it premieres on Hulu. I don't think it's an exclusive Hulu show. So like Hulu doesn't exactly have a lot of original content. So that just felt like a very lackluster tidbit of data that she provided us. Like, oh, okay, that's great.
Here it says season 5 debuted on May 23rd, and according to Disney, secured 3.9 million views globally in its first 4 days across Hulu, Disney Plus, and Star Plus. That makes it the most watched unscripted series premiere this year on all Disney streaming platforms. Lies. I'm scanning, but
This is what I'm telling you. Like, she had posted something about that, and I
yeah.
was like, "Girl, what? That doesn't even what Disney doesn't have reality TV shows, so you're not gonna get on Disney Plus any reality TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is under the Disney umbrella besides Hulu? Oh, like,
ESPN.
stop it, because ain't nobody watching ESPN like that unless it's sports related. So yeah, of course, an unscripted show like the Kardashians was going to get better ratings than any of the other shows because nobody ever knows what else is going on Hulu,
This
especially
is true.
unscripted.
Yeah, that unscripted crap is a lie. Let's see. They're not really saying anything because they don't want us to know.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Streamers are notoriously very vague and secretive about their um biometrics. Is that not biometrics, just
The
metrics,
ratings,
their ratings and all that.
viewership.
Yeah, yeah, they're very like secretive about it.
Well,
Um,
guys, whenever we find it, we'll let you know what it is.
yeah.
But the Kardashians, I guess you'll see us back on season 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it got renewed a few seasons. I don't know how many, but we're here.
And it's what, probably coming back next month?
Yeah, at the end of the month, I think.
Great. Wonderful.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comments about this episode and the whole season. Like, what did we think about? I can't even tell you because I don't remember the season. But let us know what you think about the Kardashians overall. This reiteration of the Hulu series. What do we think about the girls? Has your opinion changed about them? And by the girls, I mean Kim and all her sisters, because I can't name them all right now. But
Just the Kardashian ones, because the Jenner ones don't do nothing. Stop playing.
well, maybe they have thoughts on the Jenners. You never know.
Okay, sure. I
But
would love to hear those.
let us know what you think in the comments. But that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends so we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We have been heavily delinquent on social media, but listen, hiatus that needed to be hiated, if that's a word, happened. We'll eventually get back there. So we are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, share, follow, comment. You can also listen to the videos in podcast format via Spotify, which that's also delinquent, and YouTube Music that is not delinquent. So you can go there too.
See, we're making progress, guys. All right, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.